Ayo YouTube and Facebook. Sup, what's good? It's your boy 6WY here, back with another YouTube video. Please make sure to like, subscribe, turn on post notifications, and all of that jazz, as it really helps on my channel a lot if you do so. I'm trying to build a tight-knit community based around sports and media I like to talk about, and it would really help out my channel a lot if you do so. Please cue the intro.
Tell me what it is, what's your purpose, what you trying to be. Nothing good comes easy.
Hey guys, so I'm sorry if I sound a little bit quieter today or out of energy. I was helping my grandmother move stuff. I will be helping my other grandmother in any day now move her house, or she said in April. So once that happens too, I'll be tired like that too, but I'm going to continue to do that along when I get my job. I'm praying it's soon. But I will still continue to do these videos for you all. So I just want to say I apologize by not giving you guys any new news. I'm stopped on purpose. I had a video made, but I wanted to wait until more news came out, and a lot of big news has, especially for my division. So I'm going to get into it. Today will be an AFC North talk video, not the podcast or nothing like that, but you know, a AFC North talk video. And then tomorrow I'll do an AFC West talk, or whenever this week I'll do an AFC West talk, because that's my second that's my second the conference I want to talk about. And then we'll go from there as far as my favorite conferences from there, what I like the most. I'll talk about them. But yeah. So biggest news comes from my rival team, the Browns. They've traded for Deshaun Watson on a deal that is historic for the NFL. It's basically a lot of guaranteed money, and that was the Browns saying screw you, Roger Goodell. What we plan to do is we plan to make most of that money a signing bonus. Now, because why they did that is because his next year when he actually starts playing for the Browns, he's going to only be gaining, or this year, I mean, when he begins playing for the Browns, he will only be getting $1 million every every season. He'll be getting, or this season, I mean, not every season, but this season he'll be getting $1 million. But that will probably all be taken away because of, not $1 million. He probably won't be getting one mil, but you guys get what I mean. He'll be literally fined for probably $1 million because he's going to have to leave those games, right? Because the NFL will freaking suspend him. Which, if you want my opinion on the matter, because I will get into this here, I don't care. I think Deshaun's innocent. I think there's been a lot of evidence to freaking support. I'm not here to dog on people who believe he isn't. I understand why they believe he isn't, but in my opinion, there was only 2 girls who came to testify out of the 23 something women who said that he did it. There was other people who was also working for him as a massage therapist who told him to not get in league with some of these girls who he did end up getting into, because they are going to try to get you for your money. And also it made perfect sense to do so, because that man was asking for a trade. He was begging for a trade right as that happened. So it makes perfect sense. Now, do I believe it was a way for the Texans owner to put dirt on Deshaun's name? No, I don't believe that. I believe that is too dumb, because the Texans, in my opinion, got less in terms of picks and stuff that they could have gotten for Deshaun because of that instance. But whatever, he's on the Browns. It's funny because he wasn't going to sign with them. He was going to sign with the Falcons, and honestly, I want the AFC North to be as freaking competitive as possible. So I'm glad he's here. I'm telling you, almost every single AFC North game better be a primetime game, just like the AFC West now, because these games are going to be amazing to watch. he wasn't going to join them, but after them giving him all of that guaranteed money, which was a crap ton, they're like, okay, amazing, fine, I'll come here, right? Which we can get into money and on how I think QBs and players in general are getting paid too much money. I think the reason why the Packers are the way they are right now is because Aaron Rodgers screwed that up by him asking for that buttload of money that he didn't need. But that'll be once we get into the AFC West talk. But anyways, so they signed him because the Falcons, I believe, was not a good spot for him. I believe they had no talent except Kyle Pitts and their new cornerback that they drafted last year. I think it's maybe the year before that. They have no talent. You would literally be starving your guys' team if that happened. Now, you guys would have apparently rumors are you guys would have gone Jarvis Landry, I believe, or Julio Jones, and Alvin freaking Kamara if that happened or not. Alvin, I forget who is the Bucks running back. Oh, Leonard Fournette, my bad, because he's an amazing running back. I was an idiot, but Leonard Fournette for if he signed there. I don't know how that would work salary wise, but I just don't see them winning. I mean, it's the NFC, so with that group, I think you guys have a chance because the NFC is freaking starved for talent as of right now. But that's why I think the Falcons were not a good team for him. I believe the Panthers were, in my opinion, the Panthers of Pittsburgh was the best fit, and the Browns. I believe, but out of the last three teams in the running, I believe the Browns were in the best position. The Saints have some decent pieces, and I could definitely see him going there, but he ultimately chose the Browns because of the bigger money, and I respect that. I respect that a lot. I'll get into CJ and Larry Ogunjobi once when we get into the Bengals part, but I'll talk about money and how I feel about it in the NFL like that. But he went to Browns. I appreciate that a lot. It's going to help their team a lot. Oh, and I forgot to mention Alvin is probably going to be out for the season because of what happened in Vegas. So, yep, no. Let's talk about what I think is going to happen. Or what else has happened. I mean, not what I think is going to happen, but I do think this is going to happen. They are re-signing Jarvis Landry from apparently what I heard, and Clowney. I think that's really good. I think they need a really good defensive player, and they need another wide receiver to help Amari Cooper. Now, you can say all that you want about like Clowney or whatever, but Clowney can do some stuff on the defense. He is just not a dude you want to rely to be your number one option. But as a team like the Browns with a lot of other very good defensive options, you're decent there. And obviously Jarvis Landry is a decent wide receiver number 2 for him to throw to. So yeah, I respect that, and that's good for me because I'm like, that's good because I'm like, why would they trade for Cooper when you know Baker's not going to throw that through the ball? It just makes no sense. Let's get on to Baker, right? Baker, I think, in my opinion, should have gone to the Colts. It was just found out today that they traded for Matt Ryan. Where is Baker going to go is my question. I don't know. I think Baker should have gone to the Colts. I believe Baker, in my opinion, is a good QB that just has been in a messed up situation last season, and because of that, he's had too much hate because the Browns were in such a high place the season before. I don't believe he's like elite like other quarterbacks are, but I do think he's very good, and there should be a lot of teams who should actually pursue him, and I don't think the people who are dragging his name is doing him any favors either. But I think he'd be decent, honestly, on a team like the Colts. I think he has issues where he doesn't throw to wide receivers. Like, why the hell once you don't do Odell Beckham? I don't know, but I think talent-wise, he has the talent. It is can he force himself to elevate? Like I know, we know he can be, and how he has in the past to become better every season or every other season at this rate, or are you just going to play with the hate and play like you trash quarterback when I know you are way better than on what you shown last season? Um, I like this a lot though because we'll get into Pittsburgh in a minute. I'm going to talk about my team next because my team made the most or the second biggest move out of free agency, but I think this could help a lot with Pittsburgh. But yeah, that's all I have to say about the Browns. I think Baker should be traded. I don't know to where, but he should be traded somewhere. Maybe the Lions, but if I'm a Lions fan, I want to wait till next season to get a better QB. I will tank to get a better QB next season. But I could definitely see that done. And then where did Jared Goff go? I don't think Jared Goff should play backup. I think he could be a starter on quite a few teams. I just don't think he's that QB to get you through the next hump. He's like a Ryan Tannehill, too good to be a backup, but ultimately not good enough to get you through the hump. On to the Bengals. I think the Bengals might be having one of the best free agencies besides Jets. Bengals, they got a premier top 5 right guard in the league in Lele Collins. The one job the Bengals had was to protect Joe Burrow this offseason. I think we did a right job last offseason. I believe we did. I believe in my opinion, last season, my team got Joe Burrow average offensive line. Now, you may hate me for saying this, but I think it was average. The people on paper, there was 2 above average, or there was at the start of the season, if you looked before the season started, there was an above average person in Jonah Williams. The rest were average, but Quentin Spain turned out to be above average. Right? That's the best way to put it. Due to injuries, etc., Hakeem Adeniji had to play, and one dude made our offensive line one of the worst in the league. Right? And that's what happens. And that's why I'm telling Chargers fans, etc., or not Chargers fans. That's why I'm telling Dolphins fans and Jaguars fans who want Armstead, which I think the Dolphins will get Armstead, or the Jaguars who will get or who got Sharif. One dude does not show up your offensive line. You need more dudes, and I'll get into it once I get into their division, especially the Dolphins. But I think some of our O linemen that we dropped, like Riley Reef, Quinn Spain, if we don't re-sign them, which I fully expect us to do, could easily go to their team and be decent to hold their QBs upright. I'm not saying they are a long-term answer for them, but just to keep them there for a little while, to have your QB not get sacked as much is way better than having nothing. But we signed Lele Collins, a premier right guard. He's one of the best in the league. What he does, he protects Joe Burrow. We got all glass eaters. We then have we got rid of Hopkins, which in my opinion, Hopkins was a decent center. He wasn't bad, but he was more average. He does what you ask him to on the field, and that's about it. He doesn't go above and beyond. So I could see us changing him, but in my opinion, the position we needed to truly change was right tackle. I believe if we got a good person in right tackle, we would have been above average, right? But talking about Jonah Williams, or not talking about Jonah Williams, talking about center, we got Ted Karras. Ted Karras is a above average center from what I've heard. He plays very good. The Bengals are very high on this dude and what he can do, and I respect that. He can also switch to right guard or to left guard, which will be important in a second because which will be important not in a second, but will be important because I think what can happen is 2 things. Bengals fans really want J.C. Treader. I'd like him too. I'm not gonna lie. My issue with J.C. Treader, though, is J.C. Treader is going to cost us a butt ton of money I'm not willing to pay him. If I'm paying any other player, which I don't think we should really pay anyone else except for freaking Stephon Gilmore. If that man pivots towards us, which I think there might be a chance, I don't mind him going to the Raiders after all of those additions they made. I can't get mad at him for going there, but I think we are the better team. I pray we are the better team. You will never know with those additions, but I believe if he went to our team, that's the only time now I would pay someone good money, right, to go there. But none of these purchases, and I'll get into the other ones in a second, have broken the bank. So I won't. I don't mind us spending a little bit more money to get Gilmore, because that's one of our biggest weaknesses is a lockdown corner. There's not very many holes. That's is one of our biggest. Our cornerback group is good, but a lockdown corner would do wonders for this team. Then we got Alex Kappa from the Bucks. I'm so happy. I was talking with my dad, who's a Bucks fan, and I was so salty. We were at the table, and I'm like, we were talking about free agency because I brought something up about it, and I'm like, thank you for giving me Ryan Jensen, like we were joking around about it, and I'm like, well, thank you for giving me Ryan Jensen, My team would really use him a lot, and he's like, yeah, I agree. The Bucks are in shambles now. I love my team, but the Bucks are not going to be as good as they were by far. You guys can go ahead and take Ryan Jensen, right? Because we were going to get Ryan Jensen and we were going to get Rob Gronkowski. I can guarantee this. And then, day before free agency, that night, or 5 minutes later, my dad goes out to my people's garage, and I'm scrolling through Twitter, hyped for free agency because all of the Chargers fans are talking. Well, we're going to get J.C. Jackson, which they did. We'll talk about that in the AFC West video. But Tom Brady has unretired and is now deciding to play for the Bucks again. And I'm like, God damn it, bro. That was my reaction. I love my Lord and Savior. I apologize for saying your name in vain. But I was like furious, dude. Because not only did we just lose a really good tight end who could block for Burrow, and I still wanted CJ there, and a lot of Bengals fans did, and I think we could have kept CJ. But not only did we lose Gronkowski, we lost Ryan Jensen, which was really big because that was the one job my team had, was to put a good offensive line up for Burrow, and he's the best center in the league, and that's a smash hit if we got the best center in the league. And Tom Brady had to mess it on up by choosing to unretire the day before free agency started. I didn't mind him unretiring. In fact, I hope he did because I wanted my dad's team to be decent. But again, I didn't want him to retire the day before free agency came out. So he instantly calls Ryan Jensen. He's like, yo, you need to come back. He's like, yeah, sure. He calls Kappa, and Kappa's like, no, I got this contract from the Bengals that'll be worth money, or will be worth a longer-term deal. I'm going to the longer-term deal. And that's what he did. And I don't hate him for that because, in my opinion, Tom Brady is going to probably play for another 2 more years, maybe a year, for some unfinished business. So why stay there when you can go to Joe Burrow, get a long-term deal, and you will still be on an amazing team, in my opinion, just as amazing as the Bucs are, right? And our team will get to eat, right? You will let Joe Mixon and our receivers eat, right? It's a no-brainer for me. It's not a no-brainer for me because it's Tom Brady of all QBs that I would be blocking for, but it's okay, we can easily, I could easily choose the Bengals just like I can easily choose the Bucks. So I'm glad he joined our team. I'm ecstatic that he joined our team. It was really worth it. He's an amazing right tackle, and he fixes our biggest need, which was get rid of Hakeem Adeniji. I don't want that dude seeing the field unless he gets better. I think Hakeem Adeniji is just bad, bro. He's just bad, the best way to explain it. I'm glad we got a guy who, similar to Trey Hendrickson, improves every year of his career. He improves every year of his career. We have had a trend of the free agencies we win. of getting guys who have improved every year in their in free agency, or have improved every year, and we've got him. We got a guard who does that, or a tackle, which is amazing. We have Jonah Williams still with Ted Karras and Lele Collins, which I think was the biggest gets. We need a left guard, but Jackson Carman can play that. I think Jackson Carman got hate for non-Bengals fans and people who just didn't quite understand what was going on with him. He played the games he played in and got to play a full game, and he was not bad at all. He was allowing 0 sacks. I'm not saying he didn't allow sacks to happen, but like the first 2 or 3 games he played, like when he played the full game, there was 0 sacks. That dude played better than a lot of other rookies, in my opinion. Now you may hate me for this. In my opinion, he's the 4th best rookie lineman. In my opinion, the best is Rashard Slater, second best Creed Humphrey, and you can argue like Creed and Rashard because those dudes are amazing players. And Penei Sewell, a long history with the franchise with him because you know what happened last season. And then it's Jackson Carman. I believe Jackson Carman played really decent when given the chance and was given a fair shake, but he got injured. So with his back, so he wasn't playing as good. But I could easily see him playing left guard. Or we can re-sign Quinn Spain, who would go for a cheap deal, and he's a above average left guard, right? And I'll take that, right? But regardless, I don't care about that fighting spot, and I'm for the people downplaying this move, which is mainly Raiders fans and some toxic Steelers fans here. And again, I don't see that much toxic Steelers fans. I think the Ravens are the worst fan base are the second worst besides the Cowboys in the NFL. I have family members who are Cowboys fans, and those guys are the only guys, are not guys because Mima's a female, but and my mother's a female, although she's in my opinion more of a 49ers fan now because of Dave than the Cowboys. But those are the only Cowboys fans that I can stand. Besides that, I can't stand other Cowboys fans because they're just repulsive. Ravens fans I despise because they're one of the most horrible fan bases in the NFL. They are so toxic for no reason. They have to talk trash for no reason. But yeah, for people who are underestimating this move because we didn't get a Deshaun Watson because we didn't need him, to be honest. We have Joe Burrow. Why would we need a Deshaun Watson? Or we didn't get some big name cornerback or some big name, or which we can do still, by the way. Gilmore, hit us up, please, dog. Hit us up. Or some big name receiver, even though we have big name receivers already, or a big name position, is because that was our biggest need. We got good, very good people in the biggest position of need. It may not be the flashiest position, but it's a really good, but it's one of the most important positions. The most important, in my opinion, because the game starts with both front sevens. The defensive line versus the offensive line. That's where the front sevens will always start as, and that's what they will always end as, right? So for you douchebag fans getting mad at Bengals fans saying, "Oh, you guys are overhyping getting just a right guard on Lele Collins," you guys were obsessing over him and like bombarding him in your city for no reason. It is like just our lineman. Shut up, because you guys know nothing about football. It's like you guys having a QB. Pittsburgh fans are you guys having a true offensive line because you guys need an offensive line too, Ravens. I get Lamar helps that issue because of what Lamar can do on the field. And here's a discussion a lot of NFL fans in general might not be able or not be ready to talk about. The AFC North now is changing from the Ravens and the Steelers to the Browns and the Bengals. We have to admit that, right? Now, in my opinion, I thought the rivalry with the Bengals and the Steelers were bigger than the Ravens and the Steelers, in my opinion, because I believe bigger moments happened. But at the same time, I understand why some people might believe the Ravens and the Steelers rivalry or big. That's because they were the two best teams in for a long time in the league, and they're in the same conference. They're going to fight. That's what's going to happen. That's why I can understand it happening, but I believe key moments happened in our rivalry in general that caused Bengals fans and Pittsburgh fans to be bitter towards each other. But and injuring our number one overall drafted QB who was playing like a top 5 QB that season, and we probably would have won the freaking Super Bowl if your player didn't do that dirty play. That's in the past though. We have Joey Franchise now, who I love to death. I don't like Palmer anyway. He's a douchebag. He hates our franchise. I don't like you. But yeah, that's a talk we need to seriously start having, and I think our game should for sure be prime time. The fact that we had only one prime time game last season, and we were the team that went to it all, or that went to the very last game that we saw of that season, is disappointing. I think we will get more prime time games this season. Let's go into the Ravens now. The Ravens, they are the joke of the free agency in my conference, or not my conference, in my division. My bad. So I'm not saying that to be rude, but it's hilarious in my opinion. So they got a cornerback. I don't know the dude's name. I forgot the dude's name, but from what I heard, he's very solid. And I'm going to say this about a good NFL team. A good NFL team will start by beating the other good teams in their conference. So like the AFC North, the AFC West now, are I'm trying to think of another good conference. I forget which conference the Jets, the Dolphins, and the Patriots and the Bills are at, but you get the picture, right? A good NFL team will fight the dogs if there is any, which my conference or my freaking division does. They will fight the dogs in their own house first before they fight the dogs on other streets, to put it lightly, right? So the Ravens understood there was a Juju Smith-Schuster, a Deontay Johnson, a Chase Claypool, a freaking T. Higgins, a Tyler Boyd, a freaking Hollywood Brown, the best receiver in the freaking conference, or in the freaking division, Jamar Chase. You have to get a good cornerback. Or I know that Hollywood Brown doesn't play or is on the same team as this new cornerback, but you get what I mean. You have amazing wide receivers in this division. You need a good cornerback to freaking stop them. Why do you think we are trying so hard to get a good lockdown corner? Because the other, I forgot about Clowney and now Cooper as well. So with that, you're going to have to get a good cornerback. That's why we are trying to get a lockdown cornerback, right? With that being said, that's a decent pickup. I believe they made a few other decent pickups. I think maybe one or two more guys to their defense, but why they are the butts of the AFC North agency right now is because of them losing Zadarius Smith. He was the player I believe they drafted. He's a Pro Bowl caliber player who plays amazing. He at the Packers because of Aaron Rodgers' freaking stupidity, and yes, I do believe he had a lot of freaking stupidity. So he was planning to resign with them, but last second he's like, you know what, dog, I'm not going to resign with you all. So bye. I'm not a Raven anymore again. Which is why they are the butt of the joke. You guys do not focus on offensive line, which is a clear need for your team. Your team clearly needs an offensive line. Lamar Jackson helps solve that issue, and I'm going to get into Lamar Jackson right now and just say this, right? Lamar Jackson to me is not a top 10 QB. You can crucify me for this all you want. I'm not saying he's not elite, because he is. I believe QBs like Derek Carr and Jackson are elites. They are just, in my opinion, just can't make the top 10 because the other QBs in the who are in the top 10 are so much better than them, right? Are better. There are several other elite QBs that take over. There are Derek Carr, and I think everyone would, as opposed to Joe Burrow or Tom Brady or Aaron Rodgers, right? Right? Like there's not many QBs that take over Aaron Rodgers, if at all, right? I'll give a better example of Josh Allen. There's not very many QBs that take over Josh Allen at all, right? But there are a lot of other elite QBs that take over Derek Carr and Lamar Jackson. And my biggest argument for why Jackson is not top 10 to me is because other top 10 quarterbacks, including Derek Carr, so that's why I put Derek Carr above Lamar Jackson. I'm not trying to use the same old joke that he's a running back, but they can't just play good run defense and shut them down, right? You can't play good run defense against Patty Mahomes and then shut his whole offense down. You can't do that. He will throw the ball and find a way to kill you. One of the greatest examples of this is Kyler Murray. Kyler Murray is an amazing quarterback, and he's an amazing two-way threat. Like, you can try to freaking stop his mobility, etc., and moving around, but if you try to stop that, then can you stop his pass game as well? You can't do that. Lamar Jackson, you can't. And that's why people are saying, oh, well, for the people who say that they think that the Ravens will be the best in the conference, they won't be. They'll, in my opinion, probably be third best now. I can't say they're better than the Browns at this point, but they were before the Browns after Sean Watson. Right? I think Lamar Jackson has a brighter future than Derek Carr. I believe Lamar Jackson just needs to learn how to throw the ball better. I'm not saying he's a running back because I don't think he is, but I think he is better at running the ball than throwing the ball, and he can throw the ball at an average rate where he's throwing at an elite rate, because players of his caliber should be doing that, right? That's about all I have to say about the Ravens. Now, Pittsburgh will be very short because there's not a lot. There is what ifs, and I guess I can get into the big what if this player signs, then that'll be cool. Oh, I totally forgot to mention my free agents I lost for the Bengals. Let me just run in that real quick. In my opinion, the CJ Uzama loss is sad, but Hayden Hurst plays better freaking stats wise, and CJ Uzama left because CJ Uzama saw a young blossoming team, much like the Bengals, and add on the fact that he wants to be an actor. That's why he went there. If he wasn't going to be an actor, he would have stayed in Cincinnati. Plain and simple, I think the Larry Ogunjobi situation is as follows. Larry Ogunjobi, in my opinion, he's a clown. Not a clown, but I don't respect on what he did. I said I respected Deshaun Watson for taking that back, but he's a top 5 QB, or he's a top 10 QB who is still going to a championship contending squad. With that, you are a Super Bowl contending squad. Sorry guys, my monitor went out. Just give me 1 second. You are still a championship contending squad, right? With that, Larry Ogunjobi left one to go to the Bears to get a huge overpay for what a team that might maybe if they're lucky, because this is the NFC, make it to the freaking playoffs and lose in the first round. Yeah, like that's something I would want to play for. I don't get why players would rather take a big bag like that instead of going to staying with the team that we could have given you a decent sized back still to play for us and play on a Super Bowl contending team. I just don't understand that, right? And my heart goes out to him missing his physical. I think that that's messed up. I really hoped he would have passed his physical to play for the Bears, but I just don't respect what he did. And yeah, you can crucify me if you want. You guys can say that contradicts my Deshaun Watson take. I really don't think it does, because I believe Deshaun Watson's that talent to where he deserves that amount of money, and he can elevate this team that's already really good on paper already to win a Super Bowl. I think he has to go through us first, and that's going to be an issue in the AFC as a whole because there's so many good AFC teams. I think all the NFC teams are probably, except for the Packers, the Bucks, to me are the only two besides the Cowboys, the only two notable NFC teams, right, that I can think of that are actually good. The rest are like, oh my god, right? And I think the Packers just got worse with Devontae loss. So, and the Bucks are about to be garbage because they're only going to keep Tom Brady for what, another 2 more years, and all of their free agents are going to leave, like Chris Godwin and all of those guys. But let's get into the Steelers. So they signed Mitchell Trubisky. Now, I don't think this is a bad signing. I think he's a placeholder QB. I think from what we saw today at this pro day with Kenny Pickett, I want to give my uncle's opinion on this too, but I think Kenny Pickett balled out. I think a lot of people believe Kenny Pickett balled out. And I believe that he gets drafted there and he sits a year under Money Mitch. And if Money Mitch performs, then they can either trade that dude off or trade Kenny Pickett off. I don't think Money Mitch is really bad. I think he was in a freaking sticky situation with the Bears, with Matt Nagy. So I don't blame what happened with him. And I also, in my opinion, believe, unlike a Sam Darnold situation, I don't believe Money Mitch was completely ruined by that team. I believe that year with the Bills really helped them out. Now, I really wish they do get Kenny Pickett because I believe Kenny Pickett is going to be a star. And I believe if he joins the Pittsburgh, it'll be a dream come true for the AFC North because we're going to have elite QBs in every team. And that's all I want at the end of the day. Like I said, this pro they balled out. I believe Money Mitch is really good. I haven't kept up with the Steelers free agency signings as much because they really haven't done that much. What they want to do is sign Honey Badger. I 100% am cool with that. If you want to sign Honey Badger, I'm with it, and I think you guys should sign Honey Badger. I think Honey Badger is really good, but again, does he want to go there? I think him and Micah Fitzpatrick, which are two of the top safeties in the league, that secondary is going to be scary because if you try to do anything, no, those guys are going to stop it, right? Which you need good guys like those when you're in a conference with Joe Burrow and Deshaun Watson. You want dudes who are really good at what they do in the secondary, and those dudes aren't, right? My question is why hasn't he signed there yet? I hope he does because, again, I want the Pittsburgh Steelers to be a really good team because I want fun football games throughout the whole season. Now, do I believe Money Mitch will be good? I believe he has a good chance to be good. If he's good, that's cool, but regardless, I think they should still draft Kenny Pickett, in my opinion. And the reason why I think that is a possibility, still a major possibility, is because of this. You saw a lot of Pittsburgh GMs and head coaches at the pro day. They watched this pro day. They saw this kid ball out. All of the teams who needed a quarterback got one. Washington got Carson Wentz. The Colts got Matt Ryan now. The only team who doesn't have a good QB is the Panthers. But they can probably take Willis, or they can take Matt Corral, which I hope they do. I really hope the Panthers don't take Kenny Pickett. But all of the teams who really needed a QB have their QB. So that at least buys them a season to do so. I don't expect a team like the Lions to get a QB either. But if he did, I would be happy for my Uncle Marcus, regardless of his bad takes in sports sometimes. I love that man to death, and I wish his team nothing but the best. So if he went there, that'd be amazing for him. But as for my other uncles and my grandfather, I really hope Kenny Pickett goes to Pittsburgh. Also, I think Carolina could definitely take a QB, but we just got to hope he does take Kenny Pickett. Although Kenny Pickett's looking really good right now, I'll take Matt Corral or I'll take someone else. Um, I think someone got Mariota. I forget who it was. It might have even been Carolina. Let's hope that happened. I think he went to the Falcons. Whatever they got, we need to hope Kenny Pickett falls to him, and I think Kenny Pickett was going to cook in that Pittsburgh offense in that team. They lost Juju Smith-Schuster. In my opinion, for Pittsburgh fans, that's a big blow because amazing player. Um, as my uncles told me, he is not on or is as high on him as I am. He believes Juju is a good number two, and he cooks well with another receiver. He tried to compare him to T. Higgins. Again, no debate. I think T. Higgins is a top 10 receiver at his best, and I don't think he's a number two receiver because he was putting up doing number one receiver type crap his first season. He just got Jamar Chase, so now people try to delegate him to number two. He's not a number two. We have two number one receivers on our team, and you can write that down because it's 100% factual. But at least for the Chiefs, that's amazing for the Chiefs. And I'll get into that once I make their video, but that's amazing for the Chiefs. But for Pittsburgh fans, that's a long blow because he's been there since the AB days. That's a long-term wide receiver they've had for so long. And it's really sad to them that they lost that dude. Bright news is he doesn't have to get hit by Von Bell again, right? He's not going to do TikToks on other teams' freaking football fields, right? You know I had to put that joke in there. You know I had to do that. But anyways, this has been like a 40-minute long video, so I'll put in timestamps recording which team's which and what I think about each team. Yeah, I hope you guys enjoy it. I hope you guys give me your views and opinions on what you think of the AFC North. I love our division. I think our division is now the second most competitive division in football. I would say we were the first, but because of the AFC West, I think there's no argument to say they're not. Let's pray to God that Kenny Pickett goes with Pittsburgh. I hope Money Mitch does good as well. Let's hope that Lamar can throw the ball better than he did. Let's hope that Joe Burrow's O-line can actually protect the brother and not put him on his back. Let's hope that Watson comes back to the field as quick as possible because that's something Browns fans have needed a long time. A very good QB, a transcendent QB like he is. Anyways, peace out. I'll catch you on the next video.